Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at the CZ-805. The CZ-805 is an interesting assault rifle that unfortunately has been overlooked by many BF4 players, which until recently included myself. In a category which contains fan favourites like the AEK and the HK416, as well as legendary assault rifles like the M16 and the AUG, it's not hard to see why the CZ isn't as popular. After looking into it a bit more, I was actually pretty surprised to find that the CZ is not only a decent gun, it's actually a pretty interesting design in real life. The CZ is designed in the Czech Republic, which until recent history was part of Czechoslovakia, a member of the Warsaw Pact. During the Cold War period, both Warsaw Pact and NATO countries standardised ammunition, and also to an extent their weaponry. Czechoslovakia was on the cusp of these two great military alliances, and this influenced the design of the CZ-805, because its modular design quickly allows the user to change calibre. The weapon has a quick change barrel system and allows for the use of various magazine types to allow the weapon to fire both the 5.56 NATO round and the 7.62 by 39mm Russian round. This is useful in the field for a number of reasons. It allows users to fire captured enemy ammunition, allows them to up calibre in situations where greater penetration is required, and also allows a user to disguise the sound of their weapon to sound like an enemy's weapon. In Battlefield 4, we only have access to the 5.56 variant, and none of these factors really make a difference anyway, but I think it's pretty interesting in any case, and maybe DICE will factor in modularity into future Battlefield games. But anyway, let's take a look at the CZ stats and see how it performs in-game. The CZ-805 has a standard assault rifle damage model dealing 25 damage out to 8 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 18 at 55 meters. It fires at a below average 700 RPM, so the CZ isn't going to come close to the DPS of a gun like the FAMAS, but by the same token, it's a whole lot more controllable. It also has a .29 vertical kick, a .05 pull to the right, and a .35 pull to the left, which along with its low rate of fire makes the CZ probably one of the easiest assault rifles to control. This is actually a similar but slightly better recoil pattern than the M16A4, so in burst fire mode, it's actually a lot like this gun. Like the M16, burst fire is where the CZ really shines, and as a long-range AR, there's few other weapons that can come close. Unfortunately, the CZ doesn't reload quite as quick as the M16 though, with a tactical reload of 2.35 seconds and an empty reload of 2.9 seconds. This really isn't all that bad, but it's not fast by any means. It also has a slower muzzle velocity than the M16 and most other assault rifles, but at 580 meters per second, this is still faster than most other weapons in game and shouldn't be a problem. Apart from these stats, the CZ is pretty standard across the board, with a standard AR accuracy model and a standard 31 round capacity. So the question is, why would anyone want to use this gun, considering it seems so average? Well, the fact that it's so average is probably why it seems to work so well. Guns like the AEK or the FAMAS stand out because they're great at a niche range, but they have disadvantages at other ranges. The general rule is that if a weapon has an exceptionally good stat, you can bet that it will also have an exceptionally bad stat to balance it out. The CZ-805 is a bit like the M416 in that it's really not great at anything, but it's not terribly bad at anything either. Like I said before though, to me the CZ is a lot like the M16A4, except for the fact that it doesn't kick quite as hard and it doesn't fire quite as fast. Rate of fire isn't all that important if you're missing shots though, so while the M16A4 probably has an advantage at close range, at mid to longer ranges the CZ is as good and if not better at landing those crucial killing shots. And that's really where you should be using this gun, which shouldn't be that hard because outside of TDM, quite a lot of gunfights in BF4 tend to be at mid to long ranges. I wouldn't say that I prefer the CZ over the M16A4, but I definitely would recommend it as a good bridging weapon for players that are new to burst fire weapons or just don't like to be limited by burst fire only. To finish up this video though, what attachments would I recommend for the CZ-805? Well, the same sort of attachments that work well on the M16A4 will also work well on this gun, so I'd probably suggest the flash hider, angled grip, magnifier and a one-time sight. Honestly, the magnifier isn't that useful on any assault rifle, but it's probably more useful on the CZ than most of the other ARs, and it doesn't give you position away like the laser sight does. I initially thought that the heavy barrel might work a little bit better on this gun than it does on the M16A4, but to be honest, with the increased vertical kick, it's still pretty hard to keep your shots on target at longer ranges, especially when you're burst firing. So I must admit that the CZ isn't one of my go-to weapons, and it's probably only at best an average gun. But what I can say without a doubt is that it's not a bad gun, and I prefer it more than a lot of the other assault rifles, including the AEK and the AUG. So if you haven't given it a go yet, then definitely give it a try, because it might work even better for you than it did for me. But anyway, that just about wraps it up, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. But until next time, see you later and have a good one.